Welcome back to the CentreHalfBench podcast. Hope you enjoyed last week's pilot episode. Like I said, it was a pilot, only going to get bigger and better as the weeks go on. This week's been a ripping week of football. Second half of the season, getting into finals time. Anyway, enough talking. Let's rip into it.
I think the first game we're going to start off with is that Port Adelaide Doggies game. Absolute grit and grind out just to get very low scoring, but obviously shorter times. You're not expecting as many goals, but still a good game of footy. And Port Adelaide did come out on top with a 13-point win, but it's a bit different from the Doggies. What they've done is they haven't been absolutely thrashed, but they didn't win. So they're starting to get their act together, which is good. But I think one of the main things that you got to look at, though, is the Dogs' inaccuracy lost them the game. 2 goals, 5 in the first quarter. What do you think of that, Jai? I just reckon it's absolutely dog shit.
Yeah, Sash, they definitely had their chances, mate. Like, you look at the last quarter. Dogs kicked 2 goals 6 to 1 goal 2 Port Adelaide's way. And that 2 goals 6, you convert a couple more of those and you're winning those games. And in a shorter season like this, those 4 points, they're crucial, mate.
I completely agree with you. And it just shows that you got to capitalize on your chances. Obviously, we've seen a couple games this week where there's been a lot of points scored. Collingwood, Sydney especially, but we'll get into that game later.
And the Richmond Lions game.
That's not the best of the game, I think, especially for a massive game that was supposed to be. But I think definitely a player we should look at. Although in a loss, Jack McRae is proving to be an absolute pure ball winner, basically. He knows exactly what to do with the footy. He knows how to get it. He knows what to do right. And I think Liberatore as well, 20 contested possessions, an absolute ball at the footy. That is just freakish.
Yeah, like you said, Jack McRae, obviously being a Collingwood supporter, when you mention him, he comes to mind as an Adam Treloar type player. Yeah. Gets plenty of the ball, gets the ball moving for his team and provides that outside
I think
run.
the thing he does have over Adam Treloar is that he's very efficient with his kicks, unlike Adam Treloar, who can be on and off some games, which is not what you want.
Speaking of, people that played well, young Zach Butters for Port Adelaide. For sure. Probably their best in a win.
Yeah, 100%. He's a future star of the game. And I think Port Adelaide have to keep a part of it. And it's not just Zach Butters as well, though. It's just their whole
draft class of 2019.
They've drafted very well. I think it's Georgiades as well. He came on, debuted, was it last week? And had a good game.
Yeah, last week.
And especially if he can learn off Charlie Dixon, who's having an amazing season. And just
tell you what, they look like they're legit contenders, Port Adelaide.
Yeah, I think it just depends though, because can they keep this running during the finals? If they can, they're going to look very dangerous. And obviously, no games in Melbourne because of what's happening with the situation around the world, this global pandemic. But they're looking dangerous at the Adelaide Oval. They're looking very dangerous. And even when they were in that Queensland bubble, they were still playing very well. You obviously have to play well to get in the position.
A lot better than other teams like West Coast.
Yeah, but West Coast has definitely got their act together. Definitely. Yeah. They're a scary sight, that West Coast team. But
yeah, we know all about them.
We sure do. But yeah.
The next game, Lions and Tigers game, obviously massive build-up. They met in that round 23 clash last year where the Tigers won by, I think it was 7 points. And then they met in a final, where the qualifying final, where the Lions, was it Lions? No, the Tigers absolutely pumped the Lions.
Lions went out in 2 straight sets last year.
It's a bit of a repeat this year. Richmond went up to the Gabba, absolutely pumped Lions. 12 goals 10, 82 to Lions, 4 goals 17, 41.
4 goals 17 that's appalling. That's dog shit. That shouldn't be happening.
Wasted opportunity. After the game, Chris Fagan said that They don't kick inaccurate consistently. Yet there was an Adelaide game in round 4 where they kicked 10 goals, 27. You add those two games together, and they've kicked 14-40. For a team that is a definite contender, if they can get that kicking straight, they'll go a long way.
Oh, for sure. And I think especially that Collingwood team as well, kicking very inaccurately, costing them games. And you don't want this young Brisbane Lions team to actually do that, what that Collingwood team is doing, and just drop off massively like they have this year. But when you look at it, they kicked for the rest of the game from the first quarter, they kicked 2 goals 14. 2 goals 14.
Yeah, the inaccuracy is contagious. Your mate misses it, then you miss it, then your other mate misses it. It's like the coronavirus. It spreads like wildfire, and it's not like Richmond dominated this game. No, it wasn't. They only had 4 more inside 50s than the Lions. Yet their conversion and their goal kicking led to a 7-goal win. Not often you see 4 more inside 50s convert to a 7-goal win.
Literally doubling their score, 82-41. And the thing was, it's not like any of their players racked up 30 touches or scored a massive amount of goals, except for Jack Rewalt, obviously 4 goals, 1. But you just expect that. Him and Lynch looked very good next to each other as well. I think, obviously, Jack Rewalt at the end of his career, he's kind of just showing Tom Lynch how the Richmond forward line works, and that Richmond forward line is going to be dangerous for the next 4 or 5 years, especially with him up there.
And you mentioned not many of them got high possessions. Their highest possession getter was young Baker off the half-back line, and he only had 26.
He's looked really good this year, though. He's looked really good this year. Maybe not all-Australian, but definitely looking really good. Definitely an All-Australian in his future, though, if he keeps playing the way he is.
Yeah, and on that note of All-Australian, mate, Dusty, he's returning to that
Dusty's
2017 form we all knew.
Yeah, that freakish athleticism, that goal kicking out of nowhere, that
Dusty.
Just that Dusty that we all remember winning the Brownlow and Norm Smith that year. He basically had the perfect year, that 2017 year. Premiership, Brownlow, everything just that could be an award he won. He just made it look easy. But you know what the shit thing was, especially for the Lions, winning the clearances by 9.
Yeah, it's not like Dusty in that midfield dominated. The midfield actually bet the Tigers. They just the connection between mids and forward, and then the accuracy wasn't there.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, it was just shit because they had many opportunities to capitalize on it, but like you said, inaccuracy killed them. Inaccuracy did kill them.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a bit shit, especially because I like the way Brisbane play. I like the way they run off the halfback. I like the way how they rebound and score goals. They're looking scary this year, but if they can kick straight, boy, that's going to be dangerous for the competition.
And another not so entertaining game, the Cats versus Roos one. How did you see that game, Sash?
Yeah, we didn't expect much. We did not expect this much. I even said, I'm probably not even going to watch it. It's not really worth the game. I think I watched maybe the last 5 minutes. Was nothing special. I kind of just saw this game and just went, for God's sake, really? Is this what I'm watching? And just decided to watch something else.
Kangas had their chances. They had 27% inside 50 efficiency. I'm pretty sure they had 45 inside 50s to the Cats 48. Yet those 45 inside 50s only converted to 12 scoring shots.
Yeah, that's dog shit.
And it's unacceptable.
If you're right up there with them, you're right up there with them to compete.
Once again, a bit like the Lions, that theme of inaccuracy running right through this season.
But the thing is, it's not like they were inaccurate scoring at goals. It was just them hitting targets and playing that down the line, belting it, hoping for a mark, handball off, kicking it long, hoping for another mark. And
speaking of marks, when you've got a bloke like Tom Hawkins against you, kicking 3 goals too, you're not going to want to kick and mark.
No, you're not, because, and especially that that Geelong forward line, when they get going, they're very, very scary. They've got height, they've got crummers, they've got pace in there, they've got everything in there, and when they get going, it's hard to stop. It's very hard to stop.
Speaking of those crummers, how can we forget Big Brian Myers? Obviously, career best, 4 goals. Gotta love the dreadies.
Yeah.
Down from Geelong way himself. Cult figure.
Oh, for sure. I think Dion would love it. I reckon Dion absolutely loves the man. He couldn't get any more of him.
Yeah, speaking of looking good, here at the Centre Half Bench podcast, we're looking to spice up the podcast. So it's not that same monotone match review for every match. So as a result of that, we've introduced this segment on our show. It's called AFL Stocks. So how it works is each of us has one thing we want to buy. So stocks in one thing we want to buy, stocks in another thing we want to sell, and something we're going to hold on because we're not too sure about. So on that note, Sash, what are you thinking?
I think definitely the stock I would love to buy in is Braden Maynard, an All-Australian lock. I think this year off the halfback, he's been elite. He's been probably top 3, top 4 in the competition. And I like the way he goes to the footy, especially from a Collingwood fan point of view. He's just a hard nut at the footy. He reminds me of like a Heath Shaw when he was at Collingwood, just a hard nut, crazy guy, backman that's just willing to do anything to get the footy. And I think it just showed, especially after the restart, that he's here for the long run. He wants to be a pie. He wants to be a pie. He wants to play. He wants to compete. He's just an animal at the footy, which is what I love as well. I love seeing a player just absolutely try hunt it and just try kill it, basically, and just try dominate with the ball.
Yeah, and like you said, that crazy man, like he can talk the talk, but then what he does on the field, his attack,
he backs it up.
He's not one of them flogs that talk shit and then gets hit.
Exactly.
He talks shit and then hits people.
Exactly. And I think that's what we like, because obviously a fan favourite at the club. I think a lot of fans like him. I know he's one of my personal favourite players. And it's just great to see him go at the footy the way he does.
And like you said, like a fan favourite, plenty of the fan favourites, what I'm buying is the father-sons.
Oh, for sure.
You've got Tyler and Cal Brown. Mm-hmm. You've got Josh Daicos.
You got Darcy Moore.
Kelly, obviously Darcy Moore. Yep. Like to see that and like to see the older players, like I won't remember them, our older family and our older Pie supporters will. The Daicoses, the Moores, the Browns, to see them run around, which we didn't get to experience, the joy that brings the older Pie supporters to see the younger players and give us that experience of what their fathers were like.
Oh, and speaking of Josh Daicos, actually, I remember watching the Sydney Collingwood game, and I just look at it, and he kicked that goal, and I was sitting next to my mum watching the footy, and she saw, and it was like a spark in her eye. It's like, I've seen this before. But it wasn't him. It was his dad. It was Deja Vu. And it was just crazy, because any Collingwood fan, any footy fan loves a Daicos, whether you're a Pies fan or not, because he pulls goals out of his ass like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
you love a father-son.
Yeah.
It's one of the most unique and best things in our game that no other sport has.
Yeah. You don't see basketball. You don't see in the NBA the father-son rule. You don't see in the soccer father-son rule. You don't see in any other sport father-son rule. And soon there's now the father-daughter rule for the AFLW. Gavin Brown's daughter coming into the AFLW.
Possibly the first ever. Yeah. First ever father-daughter.
Yeah, I think you might be right with that. And
good for the Pies.
Yeah, great. It's really good to have Gavin Brown's kids around the club, and Peter Daicos as well.
Gavin Brown himself is at North Melbourne, but we'll ignore that for now.
Yeah. Oh, another father-son coming in, Simon Prestigiacomo's son, he's coming in as well. Yeah, I think he's a half forward on baller. His dad was a backman, so a bit different, but we'll have to wait and see. For selling the stocks, I definitely want to sell is the happily flopping and just flopping in the AFL. We've seen it. We saw it actually a couple hours ago when Callan Ward flopped, and a very obvious one as well. You could say match-winning goal cost Essendon the game, and it's just sad because everything. I think Eddie Maguire said it best. Everything we hate about soccer is coming into footy, and and
those jokes about players getting tapped on the leg and falling over. Well, yeah, that's now us, but tapped on the head.
Exactly. Or I think it was the Dylan Grimes against the Doggies when there was just a slight bump and it was like he got punched in the dick basically. And the Papley one, I know he got fined, but it's like you've been doing it all year, but a fine. I think players have to be suspended for it. Like not 2-3 weeks.
Like Clarko said it, he's the best player for free kicks in the comp.
And Clarko's never wrong. Clarko is never wrong.
No, he's not. He got given shit for it, but here we are 2 weeks later.
Exactly.
And speaking of Swans, you know what I want to sell stocks in? The boot studders at clubs. We obviously all saw that gruesome injury of Quainsley. Yeah. Don't want to look at it again. No. But here it is on screen.
No, we don't.
Have fun with it.
We do
anyway,
not.
So they're from the metal studs of Sam Wicks. I think it was in his first game.
Yeah.
Now, it turns out Dane Rampy also had them, and he caused the injury to Hoskin Elliott's knee.
Yeah.
As a Pies fan, I'm getting so pissed off that 2 of our injuries in a team that's already full of injuries are from illegal studs.
Exactly.
And they get away with it without a fine.
And it's not like a natural injury due to the body, like pulling a hamstring like Treloar did. That's 3 weeks he's going to be out for, 3 to 4 weeks, like Buckley said. But a 20-year-old should not be worried about the opposition player wearing metal studs and then cutting his leg about 7 inches.
Like a knife.
It was literally like a knife, about 7 inches open. That's just filthy. And then Hoskin Elliott, obviously it's bone bruising, but on that knee, a knee is a very, very sensitive spot, especially because it holds so much weight and you're always moving and you're running, especially in a game like AFL. And
so Gold Coast, I'm holding on to them. They obviously had a very disappointing loss against Saints. They got close, didn't quite get there. For a team that last year would have got in a similar position, given up and lost by 5 goals, for them to hang in there and show that progress over the year, I love to see it. And it's stuff like that will get them into September.
It's just what you want from a young upcoming team. And I think especially with their new recruits, Hugh Greenwell, Brendan Ellis, I'm sure a couple other players are now going to realise that, okay, Gold Coast, nice place to live, not massive in the media, but it's still a good team. And their draft picks, oh my God. Matt Rowell is a generational talent.
Yeah, and then he makes Noah Anderson and Isaac Rankin look average, and they are more than like the average player.
Noah Anderson looked like shit next to him, and Noah Anderson's the 2nd pick in the draft last year.
Yeah,
and is now probably the front runner for Rising Star Award. And I just think that's crazy that someone so good can just overshadow all these young players. And I think Ben King as well. He's looking good.
Can't forget.
He's looking good. It's just inconsistency, which we expect that though from a 2nd-year player. I think
for a key forward as well.
Exactly, and I think put on a couple kilos of muscle, and you've got yourself a player there. Especially how he's tall, he's versatile, he's very quick, and he can kick about 55 odd meters, so he can just launch them.
Yeah, and that's hope you enjoyed the buy, sell, hold segment. A little something to spice it up. Podcast. We'll be looking to continue this. If you have any ideas for any other segments, chuck them down below in the comments or whatever platform you're watching on. Just chuck them down below. And now to get back into the games.
It is the Melbourne-Adelaide game. What do we think of this, honestly?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't expect much from it.
No.
Adelaide, obviously last on the ladder. But at three-quarter time...
Wednesday night footy this week was absolutely dog shit.
At three-quarter time, though, they were down by 2 goals. Except this is where I was talking about Gold Coast losing it. That is now Adelaide. They got outscored by 39 points in the last. And then they lost by 51 as a result of it. That's the difference.
Yeah. Clayton Oliver, what a game.
Man.
What a game.
34 disposals, 22 contested and 1 goal. He is back into that 17-18 form.
Oh, he killed it. Like, Petrarca's been a freak this year, but he hasn't done something like that. He hasn't done anything like that. And it just shows that this kid can be a Brownlow winner. Like, I know we throw the Brownlow winner word around a lot, but he does everything a Brownlow winner should do. Gets the hard footy, kicks goals, 22 contested possessions. We thought Libba's 20. Like, 22 to go on top that. Like, he just hunted the footy. And in shortened quarters, if he was playing longer quarters, I wouldn't have been surprised for 50.
The game of the week, in our biased opinion.
Collingwood, Sydney. We were waiting to talk about this game. Our hearts...
Waiting. We've been building up for it. Obviously, the start. I was in shambles, mate.
I was so
frustrated.
frustrated.
At one stage, we had 4 scoring shots in a row. 3 of them were points and 1 was out in the full. On that note, it was 16-2 inside 50s in the first quarter. 6 points to 1 goal straight. I was thinking, we do everything right, but we still can't convert.
I know, and the press was saying, oh, Collingwood can't play attacking footy. They can't play attacking footy. The week we do, we can't kick straight. It's just, what are you doing, boys? Like, it was 1 goal to 6 points.
Like, you look at the key stats overall for the game. We won possessions by 91, which is the 3rd highest this year. We won clearances by 10 and inside 50s by 17. Yet we only win by 9 points. 6 goals, 14. That explains a lot of it. No, you're not. And on that note, we kick so inaccurate, yet a bloody Macedonian Marvel 2.0 kicks it from the boundary to win us the game.
What a bit of...
The Daicos. What a gun.
They say you can't hear photos, but I look at that and I'll remember that bit of commentary for the rest of my life.
And not only Daicos, like our vice captain, Adams, lowered his flag over the 2 West Coast teams when he was captain. This week, given the vice, I'm pretty sure, I think Steele was captain. 29 touches, 1 goal, 13 contested. Good performance.
It just shows how like influential he is to the team. Like, it's actually crazy. You look at it and do you go, do we give the captaincy to Sidebottom when Pendlebury's done? Or do you give it to Tate?
I think if Pendlebury was in the team when Adams is captain, it'd be very different.
For sure. Because I think I heard someone say in the media, when Pendlebury's playing, they can give him the footy and they know he's going to hit a target. That every night, if he slows the game down, he can be going at 3 k's an hour, but everyone around him will be going at 1. He just slows it down. He could literally be walking and people would be taking like the tiniest steps, like literally millimeters. You wouldn't even notice it. And he creates so much space and opportunity for young players. Speaking of young players, big drip Trey Rusco.
1 goal, 3. He could have had 4 goals on debut. His mum actually missed his first goal because she was out the back smoking a durry, but we'll forgive her for that.
Oh no, what a woman. What a woman.
What a legend.
I know.
He's from the highest breed.
He even just seems like a weird unit. But you know what? Collingwood might have Collingwood might have
Our culture includes
for
everyone.
sure. It's such a diverse set of like boys together and group that
Pretty much AFL in like general
everyone's
now,
just
though.
different. Like you got the loose boys in Myercheck, Lynch, and Sire. I'm sure those three boys are always together, and they might be the loosest set of boys at the Pies that there is.
Behind Steel Sidebottom, we know about him.
Yeah. Bender boy.
Bender boy.
He had a
It's
bender.
like Swanee said. Swanee said in the game, he can hit targets better than he can like
Find a
aim for
toilet.
the toilet. Anyway,
Swanee would be
Speaking- yeah.
lovely playing for the Pies right now. Exactly.
and you got to love how Sire's getting into it. 23 touches as well.
I think Sire has to be a mainstay. Wills came in to play that Sire role, but no one can play it as good as Sire. So exactly, like they're very similar players, but I think that pressure and that extra bit of confidence that Sire brings to the game, and I've realized when they play is Sire looks a lot more confident going at the footy than Rupert Wills does.
Like there was a goal that Sydney kicked, and he snapped it as Sire absolutely poleaxed him. That's just lucky. That's the
crunched him.
intensity and pressure
Exactly.
and physicality that Sire brings.
Yeah, did you see him stare him down afterwards? That
I know.
that
and
made
then he
me
kicked
laugh.
the goal. That was a bit unlucky.
Yeah, that was a bit
You gotta
unlucky.
love him.
Yeah.
Another cult figure at the Pies.
Oh, for sure. I think we should get on to the next game. Otherwise, we'll be talking about this for the rest of the night.
Can talk about Daicos for the rest of the night.
we can
but
talk about
save that for
anything
later.
Pies related for the rest of the night.
Saints v Suns, mate.
Saints v Suns.
Good game.
Probably the best game of the week, but we'll let that slide
Sure.
because we're Pies fans. But
High scoring,
What a
quick
game.
moving,
Yeah.
good football to watch.
it was just like fun and exciting, and it was just like you didn't care who won. It was just like this is a really good game of footy. And obviously,
Speaking of fun and exciting, man, Rankin's X factor. He took a specky. A couple of minutes later, he got a snap
Slotted
from the
it
boundary
through.
to bring him back.
Yeah.
Like, that is what you love to see in a young player. The confidence he has,
it's freakish.
they look good.
And I think it's very good to have a player with confidence that can just go and bring in like that electricity, like a young Eddie Betts is probably the best way to put him. That not scared to take it on. He'll take a shot from the most ridiculous of angle and just make it look easy. And that's what you love. And especially as AFL fans and footy fans as a whole, you just love that electrifying like movement, that the way he moves, the way he plays, just everything about him.
Yeah, you gotta love it. And Butler and Jack Steele, they look good. Butler 4 goals, Jack Steele all Australian form, 21 touches, 2 goals, 7 score involvements. Tell you what, they are reminding me. They're reminding me a lot of us in 2018. Come from nowhere, got a lot of players that are breaking out, a couple of good recruits, and fast attacking football. And a lot of their goals were out the back running into a goal square, which is what we had a lot of in 18. But I love to watch him. As much as I hate him, I love to watch him.
I can't stand the Saints, but just watching them play is entertaining. It's fun. But
Especially this year.
yeah, especially this year.
Like they broke their membership
that.
records.
Yeah, 47,000, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they'll win the flag, but they're definitely I think they'll definitely be close. And if they do make the 4,
Yeah.
they'll be like Brisbane, go out in 2 straight sets.
Yeah. We saw it last week in Carlton. Obviously, they were up by 31, lost by 31. Bombers, mate, they've given that a good run for its money.
29 points. And Leon Cameron was filthy
Would
at
be.
halftime. He was filthy.
Yeah.
I heard Cog saying in the interview they used the word a bit animated. But you should be. He's 29 points down. You shouldn't be accepting that. You should be looking at it and going, what the fuck is this? You can't
Yeah,
go.
mate, it's what I was doing for the last 2 weeks against the West Coast teams, but
Yeah. But I think the player who looked freakishly good tonight on both teams, Timmy Taranto for the GWS Giants, and he's a freak. He's just an absolute bull. Like, just everything about him I love. And Zach Merritt. Zach Merritt's playing really well. He's playing like a Tom Mitchell type player. That 2018 year when he won the Brownlow. Like high disposal.
brings question: can Merritt bring a Brownlow?
Oh, for sure. I think so, but it just
Big
depends.
call, but
It's a big
if he
call.
gets that footy,
He's very dangerous with the ball in hand, and
yeah.
but especially he only came on the scene because of that drug scandal.
That's when he was their best
Exactly.
midfielder that year.
That drug scandal was good for them and bad for them. They found McDonald, Tip, and Woody.
Oh,
Zach
obviously
Merritt,
bad
2
for
players.
them, but
Very bad on the club for what they look like. But
they gained they gained 2 players, but they lost half of their team.
2 players that we're just thinking of at the top of our head. I'm sure there's heaps more.
Yeah.
I'm sure. There's heaps more.
Anyway, the Bombers, they kicked 6 goals 1 in the second quarter.
Mhm.
After that, they kicked 1 goal 2 with 2 goals 2 with one of those goals coming in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, by Adam
Bit of a
Sard.
choke.
Yeah, it's not what you expect, especially for a team who pride themselves on pressure and intensity. You look at that
Pressure they brought against us.
the pressure they brought against the Pies. They killed us that game. It just shows that if Essendon are on, they can play really, really well.
He's too good of a player not to.
Yeah.
Speaking of a good player, young Ridley
Mhm.
obviously injured himself, rib injury,
Yeah.
but he looks like a very good player for Essendon for the next 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of teams coming up in the competition with good young players.
Honestly, the young players at the moment look very good.
Yeah, they are, and especially they're starting to take over the competition. Like the players we knew.
They're ready made. They're ready made now. They don't take years to get ready. Yeah, we can't talk about this game though without acknowledging that flop from Cal Ward.
Oh,
Obviously, most of his career known as a very hard player,
but
goes at the ball, courageous. Yeah, this was the opposite.
this was complete bullshit. If I'm being honest, it
Cost Essendon the game.
It did. It cost them the game, and I think so. Let's say in a hypothetical world, he didn't get that free kick was play on. Adam Sard would have won them the game with that goal. He would have won them that game. And did you see out the middle? Obviously, there was like 2 seconds left. If there was an extra 8 seconds on the clock, Tipper had the ball and he was running towards goal.
Yeah,
He could have
He did,
launched
he
that
did,
fucking
didn't he?
thing and won them the game. And I wouldn't have been
but
surprised.
such is life.
Such is
They
like,
got up against a close one against us, and then they didn't get up against a close one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that's all for the roundup
Yeah.
or whatever we want to call it.
anyways, I think this is going to wrap it up for Centre Half Bench. Thank you guys really much for listening and tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, whatever platform, whatever device. We appreciate your support. Looking to get bigger and better as the weeks and the years go on. Stick around with us, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy future episodes. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, whatever you're on. And until next week, catch you later.